Hi guys, welcome back, and today we're doing the next part for What If Universe 6 and 7 were 1. Now, before we get into it, I just want to apologise. This part is going to be a lot shorter than most of my others, mostly because I don't have the free time to be doing all these long parts. Not a lot is covered in this part, however, it sets up pretty much for the Saiyan saga, well, not even the Saiyan saga, the Saiyan battle. I've got all of this prepped up, but I just don't have the time to be writing out a battle I'm happy with, so this is mostly a setup, and I do apologise for that. Hopefully next time, when I next release the part of this what if, I should be able to cover this battle and hopefully a large majority of whatever arc is next. With that being said though, I hope everyone enjoys and let's get going. Last time we saw the story of OG Dragon Ball and how things would change in the universe, with there being some big differences from our first appearance of Caulifla, who appeared in the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai and also helped out in the battle against the Demon King, and finally he had a massive battle in the finals against Goku in the 23rd tournament. Let's join our heroes now. Not long after the 23rd tournament, we see the likes of Goku and Chi-Chi sitting outside of their new home, and they're talking to one another, with Chi-Chi asking, "What are we doing out here?" Goku looks excited and explains how, "I told you Tasuki was coming over today. She said she wanted to do some sparring, and I think you two will get along." With the pair waiting around a little bit before Caulifla shows up. Now, someone recommended the name Tasuki, some play on the word moon, and I quite liked it, so thank you, J Red Tree Rex. I think I got that said that correctly. Apologise if I didn't, as I think it's just a fun little thing to do, and yeah, it'll make sense a little bit more in a bit. And with her showing up and giving Goku and Chi-Chi a wave, with it having been a few months since the likes of Goku or Tetsuki catched up, the pair talk to one another a little bit before having a sparring match. With Chi-Chi watching from the side, she soon starts to feel a bit jealous, seeing the chemistry between Goku and Tetsuki. With her deciding to jump in and do a little bit of light sparring, however she can't get too intense, after all she is currently pregnant with Gohan. The three of them train for a while before stopping to get some grub. With the likes of Chi-Chi and Tasuki truly getting to know one another, the pair sort of bond quite fast. Tasuki is happy to have another training partner, and Chi-Chi's happy to have a new female friend who she somewhat sees as a rival now. Now, the likes of Tasuki only spends a few days before heading off to do her own training, saying how she'll come by visit again later, with Goku and Chi-Chi saying how she is welcome any time and she can bring any of the others if they want. Now, from here, things in the timeline go slightly different. With the likes of Tetsuki here, she changes things up quite a bit. You see, after spending a few days training with Goku, she heads off to find Tien and does some training with him, with her then heading off to train with Krillin before eventually rotating back towards Goku. The girl uses the three fighters to get some good training in, with the likes of Tien and Krillin sometimes heading off with the girl to train with Goku, leading to the group actually staying quite well connected. The only one left out is really Yamcha. Now, the cycle repeats itself for the next 5 years until the day everyone reunites at Kame House, where in this timeline, the likes of Tien, Chaozu, Tetsuki, and Chi-Chi all show up at Kame House. With Chi-Chi having kept up with her training, having become a rival of sorts to Caulifla, and also pretty good friends, it's led to her being more involved. Alongside this, it has led to Gohan being pretty well trained here, and, that helps. Now things go somewhat normal with the arrival of Raditz, however the Saiyan heads straight towards Kame House where all these massive powers are collected. After all, there is no Piccolo for him to run into. With the Saiyan showing up, he looks around and soon sees his brother Goku. With Raditz knowing it to be his brother, he shares some of the same info about the Saiyans. However, halfway through, he spots Caulifla and says something that confuses the group. Caulifla? What are you doing here? The group confused, with Raditz seeming to know Tetsuki and calling her a weird name, how he did Goku. One person doesn't seem too confused. The likes of Tetsuki responds, "The name sounds familiar, but I only have ever really heard it in my dreams, along with those Saiyan things you're talking about. However, I don't really know anything about them." With the likes of Raditz shocked, he looks at the likes of Caulifla and Goku, saying, "Do neither of you remember anything about your Saiyan origin?" With the pair sharing a look and shaking their heads a bit, Raditz gets annoyed by this and looks at the pair, with him going on to say, "You are both part of a proud warrior race, the Saiyans. We are known for our power. Some of us are known for our ability to destroy and conquer planets with ease. However, a little bit over half of our race were weak and kind-hearted and soft. They didn't like destroying, and that led to them being weaker. I can already tell that both of you are these soft Saiyans. I can understand it for you, Kakarot. Our mother being who she is, you would turn out weak. But you, Caulifla, you're the daughter of Leek, father's teammate, a strong Saiyan warrior. It's such a waste of good potential. And I will just pause the video here and give you a quick explanation of what this idiot Raditz didn't really explain too well. You see, in this timeline, not all Saiyans were evil. There was about half the population. And the other half was pure-hearted, of course. This is taking from the Universe 6 counterparts. They liked to fight and liked training, but they didn't like conquering planets. And this led to there being a lot of issues on the planet. Things like battles, and before Frieza actually overtook the planet, wars weren't unheard of between the two groups. Now, the pure-hearted Saiyans never had the power to win in these battles, mostly because they didn't really enjoy, conquering planets. They didn't do it as much, meaning they lost out on some Zenkais. They just never really won, so they could never take control of the planet. And this just means that Saiyans are actually kind of used to having pure-hearted Saiyans around. They're more of an annoyance than anything at this point. So yeah, it's nothing too strange and nothing too major. It just means that pure-hearted Saiyans aren't necessarily unheard of. Now, with Raditz sharing this like normal, he gives the offer for Goku and Caulifla to join him. However, the pair turn it down, saying how they're happy on Earth and the training partners they have here are really good. With Raditz once again annoyed, he looks at the group and sees Gohan, with him deciding to try and take the child. However, once he goes to do so, the likes of Chi-Chi does try to stop him, but she's knocked aside with ease. With Raditz then grabbing Gohan, the boy, having been trained here, manages to land a hit and break free and run over to his mother. Raditz is shocked, but he once again goes for Gohan, but this time he gets attacked by the likes of Goku, who tells Raditz to leave his family alone. With Goku getting ready to fight, so does Raditz. The pair begin to clash, and Goku is able to keep up with Raditz much better than his canon counterpart did. He can't go toe-to-toe alone. With the two clashing for a little bit, it's not long before the rest of the group join in instead of sitting around, with this fight becoming a massive brawl very fast, with the group actually having enough power to hold their own against Raditz with ease, and Raditz wasn't expecting to have this much pushback, and he starts taking the fight very seriously, just to keep up with the massively outnumbered fight he's in. Now, this fight isn't the easiest fight to be part of. After all, either side is in a pretty bad situation. Raditz can't let his guard down for a brief second, otherwise he's going to be swarmed. However, the group can't get sloppy and miss an attack, because that will give Raditz a massive opening to land some decent hits in. So it's a pretty tied fight for the most part. And with Raditz having more power than the group, it means that he's able to stand and push a bit longer than they are expecting. And eventually they come up with a plan to use the Mafuba to seal away Raditz, with Goku at some point grabbing hold of Raditz's tail, like in canon, while Tien is preparing the move. Goku, much like normal, releases it, with Raditz having tricked Goku into doing so. This leads to Raditz managing to continue the fight. However, a little bit longer goes on, and soon Tsuki grabs hold of Raditz's tail, and this time she doesn't let go. This gives Tien a chance to pull off the move. However, Raditz begins to fight back against it and begins to strain against the movement. He's slowly being pulled in, however, the Saiyan knows his fate is to be sealed away in a pot. He shouts out, "You will feel the wrath of the Saiyans when the rest of us arrive," before being sucked into the pot and sealed away for good. However, the threat of more Saiyans does concern the group. They decide to rest up for a bit before heading off to talk to Kami about it, and also give him the capsule that has Raditz in. And the god, hearing this, decides to speak to someone in his higher ups. He heads off and talks to King Kai for a little bit, learning of three high powers, which are the Saiyans heading towards Earth. With the likes of King Kai saying how they will arrive in roughly a year, and that they are a lot stronger than the last one. With the group hearing this, they decide that they need to get some training in now. The group spend a little bit of time training with Kami before they start some more intense training with one another. Alongside this, the likes of Goku actually manages to convince Chi-Chi to allow Gohan to join in with the training, with her agreeing to the idea once she hears the thought of Gohan training underneath a god, and the knowledge he could learn from this. So this makes her okay with it, and soon the group are in full sway of training. The likes of Goku and Caulifla train together a lot, and this leads to them, growing quite strong. Alongside this, Goku and Gohan spend a lot of time together, and Goku and Chi-Chi. Goku gets to spend time with all of his friends, actually. He's not dead in this timeline, so it works out quite nicely for him. Now, Before we get into power levels and beginning of the saga, really, I just want to talk about something. I want to bring up what will be going through Caulifla's head during this time. You see, after hearing how the dream she has been having since she was a girl was something that was actually part of her life, she decides to head back to the village where she was found and adopted and try to learn as much as they know. Heading back and meeting the people who adopted her. The girl hasn't seen them in a while, but the elderly pair that raised her is happy to see her. After all, it had been a while since she had last visited. That doesn't mean the pair haven't stopped keeping an eye on her. They had watched her when she was doing the tournaments. They tried to keep tabs on her and even wrote her letters to the Crane School, not knowing that she isn't a student there anymore. And just to give these two names, I'm going to call them Suki and Sokka. I have been watching Avatar recently, don't judge me. With Caulifla asking for them to share any information they know, they really don't know a lot, but share how they found her out in the forest with a pod. They even show off the ship she arrived in, alongside showing off some Saiyan armor. The girl is not too happy with what she managed to find, but she also knows that she is definitely the Saiyan thing, and that Caulifla name is actually her true name. She would like to know more and decides that after this battle is done, the upcoming one, she would like to ask the dragon some questions. However, for now, she has to go on the limited knowledge she has. With her thanking her parents, she gets off and fills them in on what's actually happening with the Saiyans. The pair wish her luck and tell her to not die, and they share a hug before she heads off to continue with her training. Now, a year slowly passes, and the group grow a lot stronger over this time, and they actually grow to massive heights, thanks to the fact there is quite a big group to train with here. The likes of Goku manages to get to a power level of 8,500. This is mostly thanks to the fact he has a Saiyan to train with. He started from a higher place than he did in canon, so he had a lot going for him, and it just led to him managing to grow quite strong. Gohan is got a power level of 5,000 in this timeline. Thanks to him already being used to training and training in a much healthier environment, he actually grew really strong here. Following along behind that is the last member of the Sun family, which is Chi Chi, who has a power level of 3,900. And this means that she is one of the stronger humans. Following along behind that is Caulifla or Tasuki, who has a power level of 9,000. Having been stronger than Goku from the Raditz saga, she actually had an easy time keeping her lead. Following along behind her is Tien with a power level of 4,200. Krillin follows along behind that with a power level of 4,000. Yamcha follows along with a power level of 3,000, and Chaozu manages to get to 1,500. With time quickly passing, soon the group feel the arrival of three large power levels, with the group feeling them to be massive and one of them to be much higher than both Goku and Caulifla. They decide to start heading off towards them. With them sensing the destruction of a city, they pick up their speed. Soon the Saiyans use their scouters to find the group, with them heading off towards their power, and soon the two groups meet up in the middle. With the Saiyans looking confident when they first show up, the likes of Nappa and Vegeta look excited to get to killing the Earth group and the Earthlings. The third Saiyan looks a bit unsure. You see, in this timeline, there are four members of Vegeta's squad, being the likes of Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta himself, and Cabba. Cabba was one of the few Saiyans who managed to survive the destruction of planet Vegeta, and his father was one of the members in Vegeta's squad when they received the news that planet Vegeta was destroyed. So, after hearing this news, they decided to go collect Cabba from the planet he was sent to on a mission when he was young. With him getting picked up and becoming part of Vegeta's squad, he lived out most of his life with the squad. Much like in my What If Cabba was in Universe 7, he doesn't really get along with the Saiyans he works with. With the exception of Raditz, the pair are actually pretty close, mostly because Raditz is used to being around soft Saiyans thanks to his mother, and Cabba likes Raditz because he's not like Vegeta and Nappa, there is obviously something slightly different about him. With the pair getting on quite well, and also being the joke that, Vegeta and Nappa pick on. However, the only reason Cabba is here right now is to try and figure out what happened to Raditz. After all, it's the only person he really cares about at the moment. Now, soon the group gets talking, and some things are shared like they were in canon. However, the same trio are slightly distracted by the sight of a female Saiyan. After all, they didn't expect there to be any left, so they were expecting them to be the last of their race. However, there is a child there who is a Saiyan, and there is a Saiyan female, and it's really confusing them. With Caulifla in front of them, the likes of Vegeta gets cocky and really confident, and he extends an offer for her to become his bride, help repopulate the Saiyans, shall he say, and soon they'll be able to overtake Frieza with enough Saiyans, especially if it's from his genetics. However, the likes of Tien grows red with rage, and he shouts out for the Saiyan to back off, before realizing what he did, and everyone is looking at him. Tien is red with embarrassment at this point, as the group look on in confusion before it clicks. With everyone other than Goku and Caulifla getting it, the likes of Vegeta sees this as he laughs at the human. It's cute that you got to share your feelings before you died. With the likes of Tien turning red with embarrassment and also rage, with him saying how if they survive this, he would like to tell Tetsuki something. The girl isn't like Goku and she is slowly catching on to what's going on but hasn't quite figured it out fully yet. And this is where the talking ends. Everyone gets ready and they begin to split off into groups. The likes of Goku and Caulifla to say how they will deal with the likes of Vegeta. Tien and Krillin say how they will fight the likes of Cabba, while the others fight Nappa. With everyone ready to fight, I end the part here. Like I said, I just needed a shorter part to do. This is 15 minutes. I'll bang this out in like an afternoon, and I really need a shorter part to do to this time. I apologise. I'm sure everyone would rather me do a longer part, but I just can't at the moment. I know I've not covered a lot, but I wanted to just get it to this point. It means I can do a shorter part, having the rest, and I can prepare my next what if. And I'm sure people will be happy to hear. My next what if will be what if Raditz came early. I'm really excited to do that. I've got the commissions done for some of the part. Well, they should be done by the time you're hearing this, I hope. And they're looking great. I'm really excited to share them with you all. So yeah, hope everyone enjoys. I hope you have a good day or a great night, and hopefully I'll see you next time.